TrackIt Soccer is a football match event tracker. It's for coaches, analysts, sports scientists, journalists, broad, pod or vodcasters, and for fans as well. You can use it to track all key match events for free. You can customise event types to your needs. You can share post-match reports and stats. And what I think is one of the best features is that multiple people can edit and view and track the same match at the same time. It will generate AI match reports in any tone of voice and comes with a user guide, tutorial videos and a support channel. It's a web-based, single-page, progressive web app, so works across browsers but can also be installed as a progressive web app on mobile phones. You'll see here that I'm going to demo off my local host, but I'm also going to show you at points some functionality that I have available on my latest branch. And I'll also refer to some of the features that I already have live on my production branch. So here you can see that straight away I've got production, staging and development. I've often found that getting all three environments up and running right at the beginning of a project is not always the most straightforward of tasks for a development team. But here using the AI, I've been able to work this way from the get-go. So first of all, let's sign up for a new account. For this project, I'm using Google Firestore's passwordless sign-up. And in order to send the mails between my application and my users, I'm using Amazon's simple email service. Because this is software that's under development, I'm using a promotional code to gate those people who can sign up. So I'm going to sign in with my promo code of demo. And then I'm going to set up my basic details. And set up a club called Miggletown. So here's an example of where I think that using AI allows you to kind of spin up certain bits of functionality that often take a while to put in when you're working directly with a dev team. So terms and conditions all ready to go and accept before I create my club. So here we are looking at the dashboard. So let's now have a quick look at how easy it is to get up and running with this application. So first of all, let's add a new team. Let's go and add some players to that team. So let's have Adam as my goalkeeper. I fancy a run out as well. And let's also add Adrian. Now let's set up an opponent. Let's call them Offshore United. So I've envisaged that for a number of my primary users, they're not necessarily going to know the names of the people that play for their opponents. So when you set up an opponent, it pre-populates that team with a whole load of default positions. So let's start the match. Select my opponent, or I could create a new opponent from here. We're playing at home. We're going to play 2 periods of 45 minutes and we're going to start our live logging. Miggletown have won the toss, so they're going to kick off. And pretty early on, Miggle score a goal. In fact, I score the goal and the assist is provided by Adrian. And then the opponents are going to restart with a kick-off. So you'll now see that the score has changed to Miggletown 1, Offshore United 0. And as we start to look at the event log, you can see those events starting to build out in my recent events window. And then you'll also see that in the live match statistics, I've scored 1 goal, which has come from 1 shot, where that shot was on target. Now let's go back to the dashboard. Now you'll see here in the top right hand corner that it says here that I'm on the free tier. So let's go and have a look at what my tiering options are. I've set up 4 distinct user tiers: free, extra, advanced and enterprise. Don't necessarily have price points for these at the moment, but you can see that I've been able to kind of break out each of those user tiers by the different features that they have access to and the number of teams that they can set up and the number of analysts and viewers that they can add. So by default, when a new club is set up, you're set up as a club admin. And what I can do under user management is go in and invite new users, where those new users can be invited as analysts or viewers. While we're here, let's also have a little look at what else is in the settings menu. So I have my general account settings that links to all of my standard help, privacy policy, terms and conditions, etc, etc. The ability to enable push notifications, where those push notifications will work for anyone who has this installed as an app on a mobile phone. Also to enable location and compass settings, which we'll come to later. And also for the WhatsApp integration, which we'll come to later, to be able to add your own phone number. What you'll see though is that various features that I could add are dependent on me upgrading to the extra plan. So I cannot add any custom events. I cannot change the branding of the application. I cannot change the tone of voice of any of the AI summaries that will get generated. Also, in terms of adding event context, I cannot do that until I upgrade to the extra plan either. So let's go ahead and upgrade to that extra plan. You'll now see that instantly my user has been upgraded to extra. Obviously, the point at which I had payment integration into this, that would go through a payment user flow, but that's not something that I've necessarily needed to build in at the moment while this is still at proof of concept stage. If we now go back into the settings, I'm going to set up a couple of event contexts. So for goal, I'm going to set up scissor kick. And for moments, I'm going to set up signs of fatigue and save those. So let's now go back into the match that we were tracking. So one of the features that comes with extra is this ability to be able to log voice events. Offshore United equalise. So you'll see that the AI has been able to kind of process that and recognise that it's a goal that I'm talking about, and has added that goal into my events list, has included that on the stats below, and has amended the score at the top. Adrian retakes the lead for Miggletown with a fantastic scissor kick. Here you'll see that that goal has been registered. It recognised that I was talking about Adrian. And if we go in and edit the event, you'll see that it has applied the context of scissor kick to that event. The away team looked dead on their feet. You'll see that this has logged as a moment where it's taken the fact that the team looked dead on their feet, associate that with exhaustion, and has applied the context of showing signs of fatigue. Let's also look at a couple of other tracking features while we're here. So often in football, one event follows another. So a shot is taken by Alec, and that shot hits the woodwork. So you'll see in the recent event logs, that action is assigned to me. And if we go down to the shots, you'll now see that we've scored 2 goals. Those have come from 3 shots, of which 2 of those shots are on target, resulting in goals, but one of my shots has also hit the woodwork. Now Adrian has picked up a small knock, needs to get some treatment, which means we should expect some injury time at the end of the first half. Adrian's treatment has completed, and you'll see now that I get an indication of how much injury time to expect. Now, let's end that match. So we'll end the first half, we'll kick off the second half, and we'll end the game. And you'll see there that I've earned a new badge for attacking force level 1, which is awesome. Let's go back to the dashboard. You can see here that I've earned that badge. You can see all of the other badges that I'll be able to earn over time as I track more and more features. Back on the dashboard, you can see that completed game now exists in my match history. So we can go in and take a look at that. Obviously got quite a long event window that starts to build out. So if I want to filter that by events, I can do. And let's say that actually during that game, I missed the fact that there was a goal. Or let's say I missed the fact that there was a yellow card. I can go in and assign that yellow card to the player. Add a note as to why they got it. And that will then update my post-match record of the game and show that Adrian got a yellow card, and also show that in my match stats. You'll see that an AI match summary has been generated, and also I can calculate who is the player of the match. I'm very much hoping that I'll get the award. No, actually Adrian got the award. Oh, because he got a goal and an assist. I only got a goal. There we are. That makes sense. Can't deny him that. So now let's look at what happens when I upgrade to advanced. So you'll see here that I can't automatically upgrade to advanced. I need to request access for that. And that's because at this stage, I want to be able to make sure that I can have a conversation with any users who use advanced mode, so I can talk them through specifically how to use some of the extra features that I built in around coaching analysis, pass tracking, and team sheet extraction. So I'm going to request that access from the Miggle website, wait for them to get back to me. And then in terms of how I'll deal with that request, I'll now show you that on my staging environment. So on my staging environment, you'll see that I'm logged in as a super admin. And that super admin gives me the ability to view all of the clubs. So if I want to masquerade as Miggletown that I've just set up, you'll see that I'm now looking at the same dashboard experience as what I'm looking at here. If I clear that filter, you'll now see that I can see all available teams and all opponent teams. Another feature is that I can also go into an individual team and look at their team page. So get an overview of all of the matches they played, their goal summary, who their top scorers are, top assisters, etc, etc. And I can also see all of the matches that have been played. Super admin users also get access to an AI football agent. This is a sync from the Firebase data store into BigQuery and allows the super admin to be able to run queries across the entirety of the data set. So we can look, for example, at what are the most common events. We could also ask who is the top goal scorer. And as we get answers to questions that we've never asked before, we can save those as a view in BigQuery to speed up the amount of time that it will take to get those results the next time around. Other super admin tools that I have would include badge analytics, so I can see how many badges have been awarded. I can also see who has earned the most badges. Back to admin settings, I can look at system analytics, so I can see how many clubs, users and matches have signed up and been logged, and how many teams I have, and see what those look like on a club by club basis. I've got some system diagnostics that would allow me to test various functions, my email alert system, which we'll come to later, how I'm handling rate limiting, how I'm handling testing any spam issues that I might see, being able to investigate certain user stats. And I've also got my WhatsApp diagnostics so that I can test the functionality of WhatsApp. Under the club management setting, I can see a summary of each club's engagement, and I can go into that and also change that club's branding should I want to. And finally, under user management, I can change the subscription tier that club and users are on, and can also look at what roles each of my individual users have, and I can also choose to enable them for API access and also for pass logging access, which we'll come to later on. I felt it was useful to also provide an API so that other developers can use this as a data source from which they can build their own applications. So now let's go in and change our branding. So I'm going to search for a football club's logo. So here are Lewis FC. Let's change the colour of their page as well. Save that branding. And you'll now see that I've got the Lewis FC logo. And when I refresh my page, it's changed the background to the colour that I selected as well. Oh, and what I forgot to do was upgrade myself to advanced. So let's go back and do that now. So let's find Miggletown here in my list. Change that to the advanced level. And then you'll see that that's instantly upgraded on my account there. So what are the specific advanced features that users have access to? So the best way to see those is to go into a post-match report, where you'll see that there are a couple of extra buttons that have appeared. A detailed coaching analysis button, and then a process match commentary button. So what I'm going to do now is add a new team. So let me add Wolves, and let's go in and add the Wolves players. And actually, rather than add them in manually, what I want to be able to do is capture them from a team sheet. So let's go and have a look at Wolves' recent game against Brighton, and here's their team sheet here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of that team sheet with the app that's installed as a progressive web app on my mobile phone. So I am taking that picture now of the Wolves team sheet, and that is processing, and it successfully created those players and added them to the lineup, so that when I go back in, you'll see that all of those players have been added. It's recognised who the goalkeeper is. It's also assigned the players' numbers to them as well. What I'm now going to do is show you how the WhatsApp integration works. So let's kick off a game with Wolves against Offshore United and start logging that game. And if I just drag my WhatsApp window up here, I'm going to send my application a command to start subscribing to events from Miggletown. So there's my welcome message, and I want to follow Wolves, so I'm going to follow the instructions, and that's Team B that I want to follow. So I'm now subscribed to Wolves. So let's have Yao Gomez score a goal, no assist, restart the game. Let's click back on my WhatsApp window, and there you'll see I get the notification. Wolves are 1-0 up. Yao Gomez scores after 53 seconds. I'm going to reply to that message and say, That was the best goal I've ever seen. And then when I go and look at that event, you'll see that underneath it's added it to the comment stream. And then I can continue that comment stream. So in order to demonstrate some of the other advanced or enterprise features, so you'll see here I'm on the enterprise level, but currently there's very little differentiation between the two. Let's have a look at a past match. So first of all, we're going to go in and look at Brighton against Manchester City. Now, actually, I don't have any events logged in for this game at the moment because it wasn't a game that I was manually tracking. So what we will do is that we will process some match commentary, for which I will upload a minute's worth of video. So you'll see that that video has now been uploaded and it's processing. So we'll give that a while to process, and then we'll come back. In the meantime, what I'll do is show you some other functionality. So that upload functionality also allows me to upload individual images or very, very small video clips. And when I upload either of those, they would be recognised as media events. So let's search my event window for media events. And you'll see here that what's happened is that it's sniffed the actual time that that picture was taken and has applied it there at 81 minutes 48 seconds to the right part of the timeline, and then has also given an AI summary of what that picture includes. The same thing would also apply to video clips, of which I think I have a small one in here as well. Here we go. Here's a video clip that's been added. So that was being processed and assigned by the AI and put in the right place on the timeline window. So you'll now see that my video has been processed and is ready for review. So let's go and review that video analysis. So what you'll see is that it's gone in and recognised that certain events exist. It's found an event description but isn't able to identify that to a player. You'll also see that it's identified who was speaking, and I can go and assign those speakers to people. So you'll now see that speaker 1 has turned into me, and I don't know if we've got any speaker 2s in here. No, these are all done by a single commentator. But if it had identified other voices, then I could apply one of my users to those voices as well. So it recognised that there was a cross, event type cross, hasn't found a description of a player, but has recognised that it was Brighton and Hove Albion who made the cross. And I can go in and add that event to the match, and then I can process the next moment. So we go back and look at that match. You'll now see that in our event window, we have that cross listed. You'll recall earlier me talking about pass logging functionality. So the way that that works is as follows. So if I go back into my Wolves team here, well, at the moment you'll see that I don't have any pass logging functionality available. So let's go into my user settings, into my user management, and let's assign this role as being a pass logger. And now when I go back to the team setup page, you'll see that I can do one of two things. I can put the longitude, latitude and altitude coordinates of each of the corners of the football pitch and save those pitch coordinates, or I can take 3 reference pictures. So I can take a picture of the left hand side of the pitch, of the middle of the pitch, and then of the right hand side of the pitch, and then I can use that to track passes based on where my mobile phone is pointing. What I found was that the compass functionality doesn't work particularly well in a browser because of security restrictions that the browser put on in terms of being able to pass phone's location to the application. And the way to resolve that would be to actually deploy this as an app rather than have it as a progressive web app that's manually installed onto a phone. So in order to work around that, this is why I created the functionality to use the camera to identify which part of the pitch the phone is looking at when a user is logging passes. So to see that working, let's go and have a look at a match that I recently logged. So this was my local team Hassocks against Brighton in the Sussex Cup, which Brighton won 1-0. And what you'll see is at the bottom is that I've been able to log completed passes per team, also to be able to establish possession in terms of how long each team was in possession. I've got these pie charts which show the number of passing strings. So they string 1 pass, 2 pass, 3 passes, 4 passes and 5 passes together more than 5 times. But also to see where those passes were distributed across each third of the pitch. If we go and look at this match from Man City women against Brighton and Hove Albion women, we can see the detailed coaching analysis that has been run on that game, where it will look at coaching decisions that were made and stored in the moment event, and then effectively apply some analysis on things that happened before that moment and things that happened after that moment. And what I can do is I can go in and manually edit that analysis, or if I don't like the analysis, I can rerun it. And there you can see I get an extra graph thrown in, so I think I will keep that version. But of course, if I didn't like it, I could roll back to my previous one. Finally, the feature that's been causing the most amusement so far is the ability to rewrite your match reports in the style of anybody you like. So let's go for musician Nick Cave and let's kick off a match between Man City women and Tottenham Hotspurs and start that match, and let's have a single goal from Greenwood, no assist, restart the game, end that game and wait for the report to come in. The city of steel and shadow holds its breath. Another Sunday descends, a slow, mournful hymn played out of the green. Man City women, they face the Spurs. A flicker of a strike, a whisper in the wind. Greenwood, a name etched in fleeting glory flound the net. 1, a single nail hammered home. No grand pronouncements here. No screaming saves to echo through the stadium's cold corridors. No desperate lunges. No desperate players, just the grinding gears of the game turning in silent violence. No key player actions. No heroic deeds to sing of. Only the quiet ache of a single goal. No shots. No fouls. A strange and unsettling peace. The final score, 1-0. The world, as it always does, continues to spin, cold and indifferent. And we are left to contemplate the emptiness of victory, the stark beauty of a single, solitary moment.